Okay, let's dive into this. What if I told you there's actually a way to make your brain crave studying? And I mean crave it, with the exact same intensity that it craves aimlessly scrolling through your phone. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what I like to call a bioheist. We're looking at a process that honestly sounds entirely impossible at first, but it's deeply rooted right there in your own neurochemistry. We're going to break down exactly how to stop fighting your own mind and instead rewrite the very code it runs on. Seriously, just think about it for a second. What if your brain craved studying? It feels like a total paradox, doesn't it? I mean, we're all conditioned to believe that studying is inherently painful and that our constant, nagging desire for easy digital stimulation is just some sort of personal flaw. But here is the secret. It's not a flaw. Your brain is actually this highly efficient, perfectly tuned machine. The real problem? It's currently running the wrong code. You see, your brain really only speaks one language fluently, and that's dopamine. It doesn't inherently know the difference between a dense textbook and a flashy social media feed. It just blindly goes wherever that chemical signal tells it to go. And this brilliantly illustrates the rhythm of your attention. Every single time you check social media, or watch a short video, or play a quick game on your phone, boom, you get a massive, instantaneous dopamine spike. It is completely effortless, and man, it feels incredibly good. But then you sit down to study, and the chemical release is painfully slow. We're talking about a tiny, agonizing drip. So your brain instantly compares that immediate rush of the screen to the slow drip of the textbook, and it literally starts screaming at you. Hey, this is boring. Go back to the easy stuff.
So I want you to hear this and really let it sink in. You are not lazy, you are not broken, you are hijacked. Seriously, let go the guilt right now. Your brain is simply doing exactly what millions of years of human evolution designed it to do. It is ruthlessly seeking the highest possible reward for the absolute least amount of effort. And right now, well, your phone is winning that equation. But we are about to change the math.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the twist. It's the big secret most people get completely wrong. We all kind of think of dopamine as the pleasure chemical, right? Well, actually, scratch that. It's not. Dopamine is really all about anticipation. It is the chemical of reward prediction. It's that intense feeling of wanting, the build-up right before the payoff. And here's why that matters. If dopamine is about anticipation, that means it's a mechanism we can manipulate. We can absolutely hack it. So that brings us to part one, the master plan, the dopamine loading method. To pull off this little bioheist of ours, we're going to manually manipulate your chemical baseline. Let's see how this builds across three distinct phases. We've got deprivation, priming, and finally, amplification. Think of this as the rhythm of our entire operation. We have to clear the system, set our target, and then push the chemical response exactly where we want it to go. So let's break down exactly how you execute each of these steps. Phase one is deprivation. Listen closely, because before you even think about opening a book, you must lower your baseline dopamine. And this requires 30 minutes of absolutely nothing stimulating. I mean it. No phone, no music, no talking to anyone. You just sit in silence, maybe stare out a window or take a slow walk. And I'm going to warn you right now, your brain will violently hate this. It is going to feel deeply uncomfortable. But that discomfort, that is the sound of the heist working. You are intentionally creating a dopamine deficit, making your brain incredibly hungry for any kind of stimulation. Okay, so once you've properly starved the system, you move straight into phase two, priming. Right before you start studying, you're going to close your eyes for just 2 minutes, and you're going to picture yourself succeeding. Visualize yourself understanding those complex concepts, solving the hard problems, and just feeling that deep, earned sense of satisfaction. Remember what we said earlier? Dopamine is about anticipation. By merely picturing this success, you are artificially triggering your brain to release dopamine before you even begin. You're basically telling your brain, get ready, a huge reward is coming.
And then comes phase three, amplification. As you start to study, you are going to manually inject dopamine rewards into your system. Using something like the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of deep focus, you're then going to take a 2-minute break. But here's the catch, and it's absolutely crucial. It must be a mild, non-digital reward. Stretch your arms, drink a glass of water, but do it mindfully. Take a deep breath. You are essentially giving your brain just enough of a positive signal to say, hey, this studying thing, it actually pays off.
Moving on to part two, the execution, your daily reprogramming routine. We need to turn all this fascinating science into a concrete, day-to-day blueprint.
So here is your timeline. When you wake up, do not touch your phone.
I cannot stress this enough. This is literally the single most critical step of the entire operation. If you spike your dopamine the second you open your eyes, well, the heist is over before it even begins. Instead, grab some water, make your bed, maybe take a cold shower if you're feeling brave. You have to keep that baseline low. From there, you enter your 30 minutes of silence for pre-study deprivation, then move right into your active study blocks and save all those high dopamine activities strictly for the evening.
Let's look a little closer at the mechanics of the study block itself. You've got your 2 minutes of eyes-closed visualization to build up that anticipation. Then 25 minutes of deep, uninterrupted focus to make actual progress. And then a 5-minute break for that manual injection of a mild reward, like breathing or stretching out. But there's this incredible detail from the research you really need to try. After every single successful study block, physically celebrate. I mean, literally pump your fist. Say yes out loud. It might sound a bit ridiculous, but physically celebrating forces your brain to associate the hard work of studying with a very visceral, real feeling of winning.
So, the crucial point here is that you must guard your new baseline fiercely. Mid-morning breaks mean moderate rewards only. We're talking sunlight and a good breakfast. Absolutely no phones. Lunch must be eaten mindfully, really noticing the textures and tastes of your food. Again, with zero screens so you keep your receptors sensitive. In the evening, sure, you can finally enjoy higher dopamine activities like gaming or watching your favorite show, but they must be time limited, because a single 3-hour social media binge in the middle of the day, that can blow this entire operation and completely reset your dopamine baseline right back to zero.
Which brings us to part 3, the climax, surviving the shift. This is where things get a bit intense.
Day 3. I really need you to mentally prepare for this number. The first 3 days of this routine will be absolute hell. Your brain is going to resist you at every single turn. It will scream for its phone. It will beg you for its cheap, easy dopamine back. You're going to feel bored, agitated, and incredibly frustrated. But remember, that is just your neurochemistry throwing a massive tantrum because its cheap supply has been cut off. You just have to survive it.
But if you hold the line, you reach day 5. And somewhere around day 4 or 5, the tension finally breaks. Something totally magical happens. Your dopamine baseline actually resets. Suddenly, out of nowhere, studying doesn't feel like a chore anymore. It genuinely starts to feel satisfying. Now, not because your chemistry textbook suddenly became a thriller novel, but because your brain's chemistry has recalibrated. The slow drip is now finally enough to trigger a genuine, natural rush.
There is such a powerful realization here. It's the idea that the dopamine is already there. You're just redirecting it. You aren't trying to create new energy out of thin air. You're just pointing the hose in a completely different direction. Once that baseline resets, simply understanding a tough concept gives you a real rush. Solving a complex math problem feels like leveling up in a video game. Your brain is now successfully hooked on growth and problem solving, rather than mindless scrolling.
Part 4. The 5-day challenge. It's time to put all of this to the test.
Here is your exact mission for the next 5 days. Just commit to the routine. Track your feelings closely, especially during that agonizing withdrawal phase on days 2 and 3. I want you to actively notice the shift. Watch for that exact beautiful moment on day 4 or 5 when the studying stops being torture and actually starts feeling like a victory. Celebrate those small wins, pump your fist, and remember, you are now the one in control of the code. Treat the whole process like a game that you are finally learning how to win.
So whenever you feel distracted or unmotivated, just remember this. You are not fighting your brain. You are reprogramming it. You have the blueprint now. You understand the chemistry behind the curtain. The only question left is, when exactly are you going to start your heist?